once you are done, go ahead and put a smiley face or some symbols or something so I can tell you if you're good or if you're not, all right? All right, so be very careful when it comes to shifting it left and right, okay? Because left and right is a little bit counterintuitive. It doesn't follow logic. So that means when it shifts to the left, you have to put a plus. When the graph shifts to the left, you have to put a plus. So be careful on that. Sometimes even I make mistakes on it because it is just kind of tricky. So be very careful on the left and right. And then up and down, it makes more sense. Up and down is just going up is a plus, going down is a minus. That one is easy. And then also don't forget about the square. Quite a couple of you guys forget about a square, so don't forget about a square. All right, I'll give you guys maybe another 2 minutes or so because I see some of you guys are still working on it. All right, Andrew and Francisca. All right, I think you guys just joined us, so go ahead and see if you can figure out how to work this out, okay? All right, I see a lot of you guys identify the transformation correctly, so that's a good start. But after that, use that to figure out the equation. All right, let me see. All right, turquoise, my smiley face, is it a -3? Because the screen is really small, I can barely tell if that is a positive or negative. But it seems like you put a -3. Yeah, it's a negative. Okay, you're good, you're good. And then don't forget about a square. And then let me see wow, you put a bunch of stars on your screen. +6 and -3. Okay, you're good. And then yellow smiley face. All right, yellow smiley face. You have the two numbers mixed up. Okay, you have the H and K mixed up. So the +6 supposed to be after the X, and then the -3 needs to be at the very back. Okay, so be careful on that. Don't get them mixed up. And then the black upset face, I think you're still working on it. Okay, keep going. And then let me see the yellow smiley emoji. Perfect. And then what is this? Like a turquoise looking cat. I think you're good. And then a purple heart. All right, purple heart. Make sure you don't mix up the H and the K. All right. So inside the parenthesis after the X, you're supposed to put a number that shows you left and right. Okay, left and right. And then at the very back, the number at the very back, that's for up and down. All right, yellow star. Yellow star, I think you have the two numbers mixed up as well, okay? So inside the parenthesis, the H, that number shows you left and right. And then the number at the very back, that's up and down. Do you think you guys can correct that? And then green smiley face +6 -3. And then the red heart, you're good, perfect. And then black smiley face with 2 stars. You're good, you're good. And then the green smiling emoji. All right, green smiling emoji. You have a +3 at the end, but this graph is shifted down, okay? Shifted down. So when it is shifted down, we need a -3, okay? We need a -3. And then black heart, you got it. Another yellow star, you got it. All right, most of you guys are getting it, so that's good, that's good. Well, you guys are either getting or getting really close, but I do see some of you guys get the two mixed up. All right, so if you can move back to Microsoft Teams meeting, and I will show you how to do this. Okay, I'll show you how to do this. So go ahead and go back to Microsoft Teams meeting, and let me show you guys how to do this. All right, so compared to the parent, what's changed? So the parent function start right here. This is the original. It start at 0, 0 right here. So compared to the original, this new one is right here. That means it is shifted down this way, and then it is shifted to the left, okay? So is there any vertical transformation? The answer is yes. It moves down by 3 units. From here, goes down 3 units, and then it stops right here. And then is there any horizontal transformation? The answer is yes. It shifted left. It shifted left by 6 units. All right, so after that, you have to figure out the equation. The equation is always going to be y equals. You need an x right here. You need a square. So this is something you're going to have no matter what. These are all the stuff that you will always have. The only thing that you have to figure out is what goes inside the parenthesis after the x and what goes at the very back. So let's work on the one in here. This one is the left and right, the horizontal movement, all right? So this is going to the left, which means we need a plus and then 6 unit. So 6 unit, put it right here. All right, and then at the very back, that one tells us up and down. So since this is going down, I'm going to put a minus and then 3 units. All right, so this is the equation for this line right here. Once again, if it goes to the left, I need a plus. So plus 6 means it goes to the left by 6 units. And then shift it down, so I need a minus and 3 units right here. So a really common mistake that I see a lot of you guys make is that you guys have them reversed. You guys have them mixed up. So some of you guys put a -3 right here and then put a +6 right here. So don't get these two mixed up, okay? So don't get these two mixed up. The one in here inside the parenthesis, that's your H. So H, I guess you can say it stands for horizontal. All right, horizontal. So this number tells you horizontal, left and right. And then this number at the very back, that's your K. K tells you that it goes up and down, okay? Up and down. All right, so that's the equation for the new line. Sometimes I like to put the equations right here so you know this is for the line, all right? That's the equation for the line. All right, so this problem is just something that we, we've done last class, and today I want you guys to try again, see if you guys still remember anything that we learned last class. And thank God a lot of you guys got it, so that's good. And if you forget about it, that's fine. Just copy down this problem, put it on your journals notebook so that you can look at it and study. Okay, so moving on. So today we're going to talk about something very similar, very similar. All right, so first of all, just take a look at this. You don't have to write it down, but just take a look at this. So once again, I have the original parent function on the left, that is y equals x squared. That is the original quadratic function, all right? Y equals x squared with no transformation, And it starts at the vertex, it starts at 0, 0. All right, but now that on the second one right here, I add a 3 in the front, okay? I put a 3 in the front. And then the graph becomes a little bit more narrow. It's a little bit more narrow compared to the original. So the original, actually in front of the x squared, there is an invisible positive 1. There's an invisible positive 1. But it's just that since it is a positive 1, we usually don't write it out because no one's going to write the positive 1. It just doesn't look very professional. But it is there. So the original one has a positive 1 in the front. But now that I change it to a positive 3, the graph becomes a little bit more narrow. All right, what about this next one right here? If I change the number to 1/3, the graph becomes a little wider, all right, compared to the original. This new one is a little bit wider, okay? It's a little bit wider. So what we're going to do today, we're going to look at how the number in the front right here, how this number is going to change the graph. It will either make it more narrow or it's going to make it a little wider. Okay, this is what we're going to do today. All right, so let's take a look right here. So this is the generic quadratic function right here. You see that the number at the very front, we call it the A. Whatever number that is, we call it the A. That's the number at the very front. This number tells us that if the graph is going to be wider or more narrow. So when the absolute value of A, whatever number that is, take the absolute value. If it increases, if the number is further away from 0, if the number right here in the front is further away from 0, then the graph is going to be more narrow. Okay, it's going to be more narrow. So let's take a look right here. The original is y equals x squared. And that's the red one, the red line right here. And in front of it, there's an invisible positive 1, okay? There's an invisible positive 1. Now that I changed the number to a 3, I changed the number to a 3, positive 3. And what's changed on this graph? If you look at the line in green, it becomes a little bit more narrow, okay? So if it increases from positive 1 to a positive 3, the graph becomes more narrow. And then the greater the number, the more narrow it is. The greater the number, the more narrow it is. So let's just say if I have another graph that is y equals 10x squared. If I have the number this big, the bigger it is, the more narrow the graph is going to be. So for 10x squared, you'll be looking at a graph that looks something like this. It will be really skinny, okay? It will be really skinny. And the greater the number, the more narrow it is, okay? It will just getting skinnier and skinnier. So that's what the number right here at the very front change the graph, okay? It will make it narrow if you increases the number, meaning it goes further away from 0. And we will call this a vertical stretch. We'll call it a vertical stretch. And the reason we call it a vertical stretch is I want you to imagine you are trying to pull it apart from top and bottom. When you are trying to pull it apart from top and bottom, let's just say you have a rubber band, okay? Let's just say you have a rubber band. When you're trying to pull it from top and bottom, put it apart, the rubber band will becomes a little bit more narrow like this, right? So that's what's happening here. You are vertically stretching the graph. You're vertically stretching the graph. And we can also call it a horizontal compress. we can also call it a horizontal compressed, because this is the same idea as if someone is trying to crush it from the left and the right. Okay, so imagine someone is trying to compress it, trying to crush it from the left and the right. You will also make the graph a little bit more narrow. All right, so once again, this number, as this number getting further and further away from zero, the graph is going to get more narrow. Right, what if it is the other way around? What if the number gets closer to zero? If the number gets closer to zero, if the number decreases and get closer and closer to zero, so pay attention, this is the absolute value of A, okay? So we are not looking at the negative sign. So if the number decreases and get closer and closer to zero, the graph is going to get wider, okay? It's going to get wider. So let's take a look at these two equations. The first one, y equals 1x squared. And then the second one, right here, you see a 1/3, okay? This is a 1/3. So I know some of you guys are not very good at looking at fractions. So on the number line right here, 0 is right here, and then 1 is right here. 1/3 is probably somewhere right here. 1/3 is in between 0 and 1. And you can also look at it in decimal. In decimal, that's going to be 0.33333333, and then it keeps on going, all right? So that's 1/3. So if you look at it, it is a little bit closer to 0 compared to 1. It's a little bit closer to 0 compared to 1. And the closer it is to 0, the wider the graph is going to be, all right? So right here, the original is right here. The original is right here. You have a positive 1 in the front. But once I change it to a 1/3, you are looking at a graph that is a little wider. The graph is a little wider now because this number is closer to 0. And just like before, the closer it is to 0, let's just say you have, I don't know, 110 x squared. The closer it is to 0, the wider the graph is going to be, okay? The wider the graph is going to be really wide when this number is that small. And we can call this a vertically compressed, because you have to use your imagination. Imagine someone is trying to crush it from the top and the bottom, okay? Someone is trying to crush it from the top and the bottom. We can also call it a horizontal stretch. So like someone is trying to pull it apart from the left and the right, okay? Someone's trying to pull it apart from the left and the right. So you guys got to understand these two, they are exactly the same thing, okay? But one of them is vertically compressed. The other one is horizontally stretched. So they are the same thing. All right, moving on. So one more thing we have to talk about A. What if this number is a negative number? If the number A is negative, the graph is flipped upside down, okay? It's going to flip upside down. So a regular quadratic function, it looks like the letter U. But if you have a negative number in the front, if you have a negative, the graph is going to flip upside down, okay? So it still starts at the same spot. You still start at the same spot, but it just flipped upside down like this. So you're going to have to pay close attention at what A is, okay? When A is negative, you are looking at a graph that looks like this, okay? I guess you can say it looks like an N. but it's going to be an upside down letter U. So when you see a negative number in the front, the graph is going to flip upside down. All right, I hope you guys are taking your notes because you are going to need to look at this. So make sure you writing these down. All right, so right here, let me give you a summary. So summary that everything that we have learned so far, okay? Everything that we have learned today. How the number A change the graph. So right here, you have a number line. And on this number line, you got to think about what number is A. If A is a positive number, it is right side up. You are looking at a graph that is a letter U. You're looking at a graph that looks like a letter U. If A is a negative number, the graph is going to be upside down like this, okay? It becomes upside down. And if A is greater than 1, if A is greater than 1, the graph is going to be narrow. And the greater the number, the more narrow it will become, okay? The greater the number, the more narrow it will become. And the same for this side right here. If this is further away from 0, the further away from 0 it is, the smaller the number right here, the more narrow it becomes. And then in between -1 and +1, in between -1 and +1, your graph is going to get wider. Your graph is going to become wider. And the closer it is to 0, the closer it is to 0, the wider it will become. The closer it is to 0, the wider the graph is going to become. So I want you guys to quickly put this on your notebook because we will refer back to this chart really often and make sure you memorize it. So please go ahead and put it on your notebook. I will give you guys half a minute. You don't have to make it look really pretty, okay? Just, you know, put down whatever you need to. So I'll give you guys half a minute. Make sure you put this down in your journal's notebook. This is the most important part. All right, moving on. So let's look at this problem right here. All right, so at the very least, let's just copy this down, all right? Make sure you copy the equation down. So identify how the letter A changes the graph. So right here, I have a quadratic function in front of you. And you can see the A is right here. This is the A. And then your H is right here. And then your K is right here. But we are only going to talk about A for now, okay? So H and K, we did it last class. Let's look at just the A. So the A for this equation is going to be a -2. -2. So let's look at where is -2 on the number line. So this number line, -2 is somewhere right here. This is -2. And that tells me two things, okay? That tells me two things. The first thing is it is a negative number so that the graph is upside down, which means when you graph it, you are looking at a graph that looks like this. Okay, this is upside down. And then the second thing it tells me is that it is less than -1. -1 is right here. So -2 is less than -1. It's further away from 0 compared to -1, which means the graph is narrow. So anything less than -1 right here, we will consider that as narrow. So once again, the -2 tells me two things. The first thing that it tells me is it is a negative number. Negative number, so the graph is going to be upside down. And then the second thing is it is less than -1. So this graph is going to be narrow. It's going to be skinny. When you graph it, it's going to be a skinny graph like this, okay? All right, let's try another one. Let's try another one. All right, right here. So I am looking at this equation, and then the A right here, that's the A, is going to be 1/3. 1/3. And if you guys are not good with fractions, 1/3 is 0.3333333333. That's what 1/3 is. So let's go ahead and find 1/3. So 1/3 on this number line is going to be right here. This is positive 1/3. So once again, this number tells me two things, okay? The first thing it tells me is that it is positive. So that the graph is right side up. So that means when you graph it, your graph will look like a letter U, okay? This is right side up. It looks like a letter U. And then it is in between -1 and +1. Which means the graph is wide. So look at this number line again. Anything in between -1 and +1, anything in between -1 and +1, we are going to consider that as wide. So that means when you graph it, the graph is going to look really fat like this. All right, it's going to be really wide because it is in between -1 and +1. And the closer it is to 0, the closer it is to 0, the wider the graph is going to be. All right, let's do one more right here. So this one, I want you guys to give it a try, all right? I want you guys to try it. So in front of you, there is a quadratic function. Tell me which number is A, and then go ahead and find it on the number line, label it, and then tell me if it is positive, negative, upside down, right side up, or is the graph, is it wide or is it narrow? So I'll give you guys 2 minutes to work on it. Go ahead and switch to Peer Deck and give it a try, please. Go ahead and go to Peer Deck and give it a try. All right, guys, make sure you don't forget about the negative sign, okay? Negative sign is very important. So the A is not just 0.5. The negative sign is part of it. I'm going to do it later on, but I'll mark it present. But I really hope you don't go away because you're going to need to know about this. All right, the black star, perfect. Well done. And then the pink smiley face, that's really good, really good. And then is it like a mustache? Someone, I think it's a face with a mustache. That's really good, really good. Spiky hair guy, perfect. The 3 yellow dots, you got it. All right, another 30 seconds. This one should take really little time to finish. But I'm glad most of you guys marked the 0.5 correctly, you know. Oh, wait, one person marked the negative 0.5 a little bit too far to the left. There you go. Make sure that negative 0.5 is in between. There you go. That's good. That's good. And then the black heart, you got it. Okay, and then the other black heart, you got it as well. And then, all right, the flower, perfect. Yeah. So is it wide or is it narrow? All right, all right. So all right, all right. Listen up. So you put a flower on your screen. So this is in between -1 and 1. Now look at the number line. The number line, when it is in between -1 and 1, is it wide or is it narrow? Yes, it is wide. There you go. You got it. Perfect. All right, purple smiley face, you're good. Yellow heart, You good? All right, all right. I think everyone got it. Perfect. Oh, okay, let's go back to the Microsoft Teams meeting. Yeah, this one, it shouldn't be too challenging. Go back to Microsoft Teams meeting. And then let's do it very quick. This number is what we care. It is a negative 0.5. It is negative, so that this is upside down. Oh, negative 0.5 is right here. And then it is in between -1 and 1, so the graph is y, okay? So right here, this is y because it's in between -1 and +1. And then it is also upside down because it's a negative number. All right, so this one, it's relatively easy. All right, so right here, you don't have to write it down, but I want you to think about these 4 questions every time that you're trying to figure out the transformation. So for every problems on transformation, think about this 4 questions. Is it upside down or is it right side up? Is it wide or is it narrow? Did it shift up or did it shift down? Did it shift to the left or did it shift to the right? So these 4 is what we care about, okay? When you look at the equations I gave you, whatever equations I gave you, okay? I can give you any equations. Looking at this, the A, the H, and the K, and try to figure out these 4 questions. The A tells you upside down or right side up, wide or narrow. That's what A tells you. And then the H tells you that is it left or is it right? Did it shift to the left or did it shift to the right? And then the K tells you that up and down. Okay, so these 3 numbers, it tells you everything about the transformation. Okay, so let's actually work this problem out. I will show you guys how to solve this. So right here, I have a quadratic functions in front of you. So the first thing, let's think about what is A, what is H, and what is K. So A is the number in front, and if there is no number, A is going to be +1, okay? So think about when there's nothing, I can just say this is a +1, and then times whatever is inside the parenthesis, all right? So x minus 3 squared. So A, if you don't see a number, is a +1. The H is going to be this number right here. So let's grab the sign as well because it's more convenient that way. And then the K is back here. All right, so let's look at the A. The A is +1, all right? The A is +1, which means on the number line, it's going to be right here. All right, it's going to be right here. So positive number means the thing is going to be right side up. It's going to be right side up. And then is it wide, narrow, or neither? So this one is a little tricky because +1 is exactly in between narrow and wide, okay? Greater than 1 is narrow, less than 1 is wide. If it is exactly at +1 or -1, the graph is not wide, it's not narrow, it's just average. It looks just like the parent function, so it's neither. So you don't have to make it look super skinny. You don't have to make it look super fat, just an average size. And then did it shift up or did it shift down? So look at the K. The K is a minus. That means it shifted down. by 6 units. And then did it shift to the left or right? This is a -3, so that means it shift to the right by 3 units. So this is always tricky, all right? Left and right, the horizontal transformation is always tricky. It's going to be the opposite of what you think. When you see a minus sign, the minus sign tells you that it goes to the positive side, to the right. All right, now let's go ahead and use these information to graph the line, okay? So the original parent function is right here. This is the original. And the original start right here. So let's look at the transformation. I need to go down 6 units. I need to go down 6 units. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right here. It's going to go down 6 units. And then after that, I need to shift to the right by 3 units. So 1, 2, 3, right here. All right, this is the new vertex. This is the new vertex. All right, after that, I need the graph to be right side up. Right side up. So that means it looks like a U. And then you don't have to make it wide. You don't have to make it narrow. So it's just average. So that means it's going to look something like this. Okay. So graph is going to look something like this. All right, so make sure you put it on your journal's notebook so that you can look at it to study. I will give you guys maybe half a minute. Let's copy this down on your journal's notebook. All right, let's do one more problem. Let's do one more problem. Okay, so the equation I gave you, the A is going to be 1/4. And if anyone is not good at fraction, 1/4 is basically 0.25, okay? 0.25. And then the H is right here. So let's put the sign as well. And then the K is back here, but it is missing, all right? It is missing. So if there is no K, we will imagine that is a +0, okay? Because right here, there's no up, there's no down. So we will just put 0. But no one's going to write +0, so that is why they leave it blank. If you see a blank for K, it's going to be 0. If you don't see an A, it's going to be a 1, all right? So this is a huge difference. For H and K, if you're missing H or K, it's going to be a 0. If you're missing an A, you're looking at a +1, all right? So this is a huge difference. All right, let's find the 1/4 on the number line. So on this number line, 1/4 is somewhere right here. This is 1/4, +1/4. And it tells me two things. The first is, since this is a positive number, the graph is right side up. And then the second thing is 1/4 is in between -1 and +1, all right? It's in between -1 and +1. So that means the graph is y. When you draw the graph, make sure that it is really fat, okay? And then did it shift up or down? So the k is 0, it's not there. So that means it did not shift up, it did not shift down, okay? So nope, nothing. And then did it shift to the left or right? So this is a +5. That means you have to shift the thing to the left. The number is going to become more negative. So it shifts to the left by 5 units. All right, so let's take a look at how to graph this. So once again, the original parent function is at 0, 0. This is the original. And then now I'm going to shift this thing to the left by 5 units. So it's going to go this way by 5 units. And you don't have to go up and down, all right? There's no shifting it up and down, so it just stay right here. And then the graph is right side up and is slightly wider. So that means it's right side up and then make it a little bit wider, okay? A little bit wider, something like that. All right, so the graph is going to be a right side up, so it looks like a letter U. And then make sure that it is slightly wide. So go ahead and copy this down on your notebook. Okay, so now why don't you guys give it a try? It's going to be your turn, all right? I want to see what you guys have learned so far. So do the exact same thing. Tell me which number is A, which number is H, which number is K. Is it upside down, right side up, wide, narrow, or neither? Shifting up or down, left or right. And then also mark the number A. Whatever number A is, I want you to mark it on this number line. And then go ahead and sketch the graph right here. So this is a little bit challenging. I will give you guys, how about 5 minutes to work on this? So go ahead and jump to Peer Deck and give it a try, please. Go ahead and go to Peer Deck and give it a try. All right, guys, let's go ahead and give it a try. Come on, y'all. All right, be careful on the left and right, okay? Be careful on the left and right because positive 8, it will goes to the negative side, okay? So this is always tricky. Even I make mistakes sometimes. So horizontal transformation is opposite of what you think. If you see a plus, that means the graph is going to move to the left. And then if you're graphing it, make sure the graph is really narrow. So make it skinny. Make it really skinny. All right, a couple of you guys are just sitting there doing nothing. Come on, give it a try. Delia, Alejandro, Willie, Alicia, Angel, Trenton, Francisca. All right, yellow star, pay attention at the left and right. And then also the up and down. So the H is positive 8, the K is negative 4. The H tells you left and right, okay? It tells you the left and the right. And then the K tells you up and down. I think you have them mixed up. And then let me see. All right, I'm still seeing a couple of you guys have the H and the K mixed up. You guys have the H and the K in reverse. So the H is positive 8, is a plus 8, and that tells you it's going to shift to the left by 8 units. What about the negative 4? The negative 4 is the K. That one has something to do with up and down, so be very careful on that. I think the arrow to the heart, you got it. This is it. And then turquoise smiley face, you got it. And then the orange heart, are you still working on it? Because you put the graph on 0, 0. That's a parent function. Make sure you have to shift it left and right, up and down. Okay, there is vertical as well as horizontal transformation. All right, guys, when you graph it, when you guys are graphing it, a couple of you guys put it as 0, 0, but no, we don't need the parent function. We don't need the original. This one has been transformed, okay? This one has been transformed. It's no longer a 0, 0 anymore. It is shifted to the left by 8 units and it shifts down by 4, okay? So there are two numbers that tells you if it was shifted up and down, left and right, okay? The H and the K, they both tells you that the graph has been shifted a little bit. Make sure you look at that as well. All right, let's wrap it up in 1 minute and then We'll see how it goes. Seems like quite a lot of you guys are struggling on graphing it. All right. The flower, you're good. You're good. Perfect. And then what is that? Marion? What is that thing that you draw? I don't get it. It's like an astronaut, or is it like a? I can't tell. What is it? A spaceship? It's a game. Among Us? It's a video game, really? Oh, really? I oh, okay. Is it a good game? If it's a good game, I'll play it too. Okay, okay, I'll check it out. I thought the most popular game right now is isn't it like Fall Guy? A lot of people is playing Fall Guys. Fallout 4. All right, red smiley face, you got it. Yellow star, and then the tree. Yeah, the tree is good. All right. Let's work on this. All right. So go back to Microsoft Teams meeting, guys. Go back to Microsoft Teams meeting, and I will show you how to do this. All right. So the A is +5. The H is +8, and then the K is -4. And then for this +5 is going to be right here. So that tells me two things. It is right side up, and it is really narrow. All right, really narrow. All right, guys, cut the chit chat. All right, just work on this for now. Okay, talk about that after class. And then it's shifted down by 4 units because this is a minus right here. And then also because of the plus, you are shifted to the left by 8 units. All right, so right here, 0, 0, I'm going to shift down by 4 units. That will get me here. And then it's shifted to the left by 8 units. So it'll somewhere right here. And then the graph is right side up and it's also really narrow. So it's going to look something like this. All right, it's going to look something like this, pretty narrow, and it's right side up. All right, make sure you copy this down, and you are going to have to look back at it every time that you are struggling. All right, these notes are really valuable. All right, let's do one more. I think this should be the last one. All right, this should be the last one. So go ahead and do the exact same thing. Tell me what's A, what's H, what's K, and tell me the transformation. And can you write the amount of units that is shifted? So write the amount of units that is shifted. Mark it on the number line. Mark the number, the letter A. whatever number that is, mark it on the number line, and then also go ahead and sketch your graph. All right, go to Peer Deck and let's try this. And after this, we're done. All right, I see someone put 0.1. That's good. That's fine. I mean, fraction or decimal doesn't matter as long as you're understanding, what number that is. All right, this thing is shifted up, okay? There's a positive 5, so it's going to be shifted up. All right, buddy, let me help you out. So can you tell me -110? All right, -110. Can you mark it on the number line? Where is -110? -110 is basically -0.1. So it's going to be in between -1 and 0. Okay, it's going to be in between -1 and 0. If it is in between -1 and 0, that tells you two things. The first thing is negative number means it is upside down. And it is going to be really wide. It's going to be really wide, so it's like kind of overweight. Okay, but before you draw that, make sure you check the vertical and horizontal transformation. Did it shift up or did it shift down, left or right. Make sure you got that part as well. So minus 2 tells you that it shift to the right side, okay? Shift to the right side because of the minus. And then the plus 5 at the end is going to be shifted up. It's going to be shifted up. All right, so that's why you have to look back at the at your notes, okay? So you guys took notes on the H and the K last time. So be very careful on that, make sure you check out your work, so that you don't get the H and the K mixed up. All right, so it shift up by 5 and then shift to the right by 2 units. So go ahead and find the vertex. All right, so you draw a flower. So hey, flower, listen, this thing is a negative 1/10, okay? Negative 1/10. So that means it's going to be an upside down graph. It's going to be upside down. So it's not going to be a letter U. It will be an upside down letter U. It's going to be an upside down letter U. And also check the left and right again. Check the left and right. We have a minus 2. So horizontal transformation is opposite of what you think. If you see a minus sign, the graph is going to shift to the right. So I know it's a little bit weird. I mean, it doesn't make too much sense, but that's just the way it is. Yeah, I like the pumpkin. All right, it seems like a lot of you guys have the thing shifted down. So what is going on? All right, look. So a couple of you guys circle shifted up, which is correct. It is correct. It is shifted up. But when you sketch the graph, you shifted the graph down. So a couple of you guys had the same problem. You circle shifted up, and that is correct. But when you graphed it, for some reason it is shifted downwards. So okay, I think I know what's the problem. So when I say upside down, I don't mean it to reflect across the axis. That's not upside down means, okay? So it's not a reflecting across the axis. So you have to find the vertex and then start at the vertex. So the vertex is it's going to be shifted 5 units up and then 2 units to the right. And then at that spot, that is the spot that you have to start your graph. All right, let's wrap it up, and then it's almost time's up anyway. Red Zeus, and then is it the Israel star? Yeah, you guys are the most artistic and the funniest period I have. What is a Red Zeus? Is that a character? Okay, let me show you guys how to do this. So go ahead and go back to Microsoft Teams meeting. Go ahead and go back to Microsoft Teams meeting. And let me show you how to do this. Let's finish this. So right here, the A is negative 110. I see a couple of you guys make it into negative 0.1. That's fine. It's up to you. And then the H, minus 2. The K is positive 5. So negative 110, a couple of you guys couldn't find it. Negative 110 is going to be right here, okay? It's not yet at the 0, but it's a little bit past the 0 to the negative side right here. So this is negative 110, or someone can put negative 0.1. All right, so this tells me two things. The first is it is upside down because it's a negative. And then it is wide, it's wider than the original because this is in between -1 and +1. All right, and then this part is a part that we need to talk about, okay? So people, please pay attention. Right here, the K is a +5. So +5 tells me that it is shifted up. So quite a lot of you guys circled the shifted up, but when you graph it, you actually shift it down. So that is a problem. We'll talk about it in just a second. And then the -2 tells you that it's shifted to the right. So shift to the right by 2 units, and then it's shifted up by 5 units. All right, let's sketch the graph. So from 0, 0, I have to go up. I have to go up by 5 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm at right here. And then I need to shift 2 units to the right. So 1, 2, right here. So this is where the vertex of the new graph, okay? This is where is the vertex of the new graph. That's the tip. It's right here. And then I need the graph to be upside down, and then it has to be wide. So an upside down, and then it has to be wide, like this, okay? So this is how the graph's supposed to look like. But quite a lot of you guys, I don't know why you guys put shifted up, but you have the thing right here instead. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I think you guys are thinking the upside down means you have to reflect across the axis, and then you guys will be starting right here, something like that. But no. You don't have to do it like that, okay? So when it's shifted up by 5 units, you go up 5, and then go to the right by 2 units. This is the tip of the graph. This is the tip of the graph, and then this is where the graph starts. This is the vertex, and then it is upside down, and it is slightly wider. All right, so that's it for today, and I think a lot of you guys did really good. Most of you are actively participating and at least giving it a try, so that's good. I mean, as I say, even if you don't get it, that's okay. I just want you guys to try it so that you know what you're missing, what you're not clear on, and I can correct you, okay? So, and you guys really did good on the artwork. I feel like you guys put more effort on drawing all the emojis and characters and stuff than actually solving the math problem. But anyway, so that's it for today. So I will give you guys a good news because you B days are way ahead of A days. You guys are way ahead, and then tomorrow is B day again. So you guys have no homework today. All right, you guys have no homework. If you want to, study, feel free to look at your journals notebook, or if you have any questions on homework from the last time, you can definitely ask me. But today you guys have no new homework. Make sure you finish the old homework. If you have questions on the old homework, the one that we did last time, you can ask me. I will be here after school at 3:20, okay? I will be here and helping you out. So don't be shy, don't hesitate, just ask me questions, okay? Just If you're stuck or anything, just ask. Yesterday, I got students asking me questions like at 10 p.m. and they are still working, and I like it. I like it when you guys are asking questions. So don't feel shy. Don't be shy. Just ask. Okay. All right. So that's it for today. You guys did awesome. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay. Don't be late. I'll see you guys in class. You guys are dismissed. All right. See you later, Hammer. All right. Have a good one, Ricardo. See you later.
Mister, at what time the other classes start?
It's going to start at like 1:55, I think. I think it is at 1.